Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome the fuck back to Memorial
Take a
League.
deep sigh as we, in memoriam.
In memoriam of what?
In memoriam of real games. Like Castlevania 3.
No. So, look. Ben is a bitch and doesn't enjoy the challenge offered by the classic Castlevania games, unfortunately. So, he is going to be... I'm going to take most of his games away from him like a fucking child. And he's going to have to learn to be a real family man.
These games are for children.
These games are for everyone, but children have the time to win. What do we have the time?
They shouldn't.
For? Huh?
They should be spending that time to make themselves better.
Yeah. See?
This is why America is weak.
Right. This is memory leak. That's not his real opinion. I don't. What's your name? I already said it.
My name is Benjamin Patriot to Benjamin.
Jesus Christ. And my name is Geron Valmundes fucking Geron. and yeah. Or should I say Dynasty?
I'll put Dynasties in your mouth. Got him.
Today was a fucking state of play, wasn't it?
Sony.
Oh my god. He's lost it. He's fucking lost it. This is what...
Did I ever have it?
Yeah, you had it at some point. No, you fucking didn't. I just realized that you have a handler.
It's true.
Unfortunately, she's out
Behind
at
every
dinner
great
right
man
now.
is his handler.
Look, all right. I shouldn't touch my hands to my face.
Owned.
I did wash my hands, but you know, cats. The
They had a state of play.
happened, huh?
Do you remember when the last one was?
The last one? It was a few months ago.
I feel like it was
Look,
recent.
Yeah, it was not that long ago.
Maybe
It was
June.
during
Probably
like
June.
E3
Quote unquote
month.
E3 month. Yeah.
Because I remember we were going through all of them, and
Yeah.
we got to it late because you were on several trips.
I don't think there were any repeat announcements this time,
There was Dragon Age Veilguard was talked about in the Xbox thing last time, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. So there's stuff that we've heard about, but we didn't necessarily hear about in this.
I think they might have talked about the
context.
Fantasian one last time.
Fantasian, but was that on with PlayStation or was that on
It's a good question.
because I can't remember who announced what. I just know that a lot of these games are coming out on everything. So
Yeah,
it's
it's a fucking blur.
you kind of just look at it and be like, oh, okay, well this game is coming out on platform of choice because it's not a like first party exclusive by any means.
Memories aren't leaking so much anymore.
What do you mean?
Just because we can't remember.
Yeah, I mean that means the memory's leaking all over the floor, and we can't
Oof,
fucking lap it
sticky.
back up. Okay.
All right, we'll go down the
Why do you have
list.
to say sticky?
Astrobot free DLC. You were just touching Astrobot.
I was just touching Astrobot via streaming onto a Steam Deck using a Google Stadia controller.
The way it was meant to be
way
played.
It was meant to be played. That used to be like the tagline for something.
I don't know.
Everything else is just no. That's Small Soldiers. That's Commando.
Oh yeah.
The way it's meant that used to be something. But
The free
Astrobot,
DLC is good.
I actually didn't see the very beginning of the presentation.
So the free DLC is they're adding. I'm gonna say adding back because they had it in Playroom and it was conspicuously missing. But there's 5 speedrun levels they're adding.
Okay.
They're new, so they are different from Playroom.
Yeah.
But like, it's just funny because it's like literally the one thing my brother asked me if it was in the game before he started playing. He's like, "Do they still have those speedrun levels?" And I was like,
Yeah, it's
"Probably." And then I beat the game 100%, and I was like, "No."
Not there. But I could see them saving stuff like that for later because that they didn't.
Yeah.
Just to kind of foster a more. This is a fun game.
Like
not
go
a
back and
hard
touch
game.
it. Yeah.
And then when you add this stuff back in, it's like when you're ready to play again. Here's more stuff.
And it's free, so it's like
right.
even
There's
better.
No commitment. You just grabbed it, put the game in, and boom, update.
They're also adding 10 more bots, which is nice.
10 more. Oh,
Like 10 more references.
Yeah,
They're all
did
unique. I don't know if they're all unique, but
Did they show
they
what-
showed a couple.
what-
One of them looked like Stellar Blade.
Oh,
I don't know if it was though.
Do you have an image of it? I guess I gotta see it later.
They got this one with the vending machine character.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who the fuck that is, dude.
Yeah, we'll have to report back.
Yeah, we'll have to.
I would expect more modern references,
Yeah.
or one of the things I was honestly expecting them to announce was not free DLC, but was like a $5 paid DLC in order to bring in the Square Enix characters.
Yeah, just
because that's the only way I think they would get them. Yeah. But I feel like they would see it as worth it.
I mean, Smash Bros had to pay the tax too.
Exactly. So it's like throw in a new world, throw in a couple new worlds. You don't even need to put the interesting gameplay gimmicks behind it like they do for some of their other franchises.
Platforming you didn't have in the main game.
Yeah, give it a new upgrade, new power up or something.
Yeah,
and call it a day.
Let Cloud, Sephiroth.
Yeah, that's
Squall,
really the only other like noticeable gap, I guess,
Yeah.
missing. So, yeah, someone from 7, 8, 9,
7, 8, 9,
10.
Yeah, I think
maybe 11.
No,
12.
I think the important
7 through 12 were the ones that were Sony specific.
Yeah, but I think 7, 8, 9 would be the ones that were like because that was when.
Those prime time.
That was when Final Fantasy was
Tactics and Tactics.
And Tactics, sure.
Yeah.
That's when that shit was only on PlayStation. Like that time period.
Yeah, but same with 10 and 12.
Well, 10 and 12, sure, but 10 and 12 was around the time when like that was the generation when you got Final Fantasy on
Game Boy Advance.
On Game Boy Advance, a little bit on GameCube.
Right. I mean, Final Fantasy was on Super Nintendo before that.
I know, but like 7 was the split where they were like, fuck Nintendo.
Is that true? Were there really no Final...
Nothing.
What about Crystal Chronicles?
That was GameCube. That was PS2.
That was PS2.
That was 2003. That was
N64.
after 10. N64 had nothing.
N64 had nothing. But Game Boy.
Game Boy did, but Game Boy.
What are the years that were...
Game Boy Color.
What? Game Boy Color didn't have anything?
Game Boy Color had no Final Fantasy, period.
That's so interesting.
We didn't start getting Final Fantasy on Game Boy again until the Game Boy Advance.
Interesting.
Yeah, when they started numbering things correctly again, in fact.
Yeah. So. Damn, I never realized that.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because they were like, fuck Sony.
Yeah.
Very intentionally.
They were like, fuck Nintendo, right?
Yeah, sorry, fuck Nintendo. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they didn't want to put shit on cartridges anymore. They didn't want to pay the licensing fees.
Yeah,
and
the Nintendo tax.
Nintendo's limitations. Not like hardware limitations, but their their licensing limitations. Their publishing limitations, I should say.
Yep. Let's do a quick spot for the VR games because I feel like they all kind of, to me, blurred together.
Yeah.
Except one was really tight. Two of them were actually pretty tight.
Which was the first one you were thinking?
The first one I was thinking of immediately was Hitman. Hitman for VR looked tight as shit.
World of Assassination, it looked that the fucking little
corner around the corner.
I was like, oh, that's the kind of shit.
This is actual VR usage, not just fucking retrofitting a normal FPS into
right. Yeah, you're not just playing a first-person shooter with like mouse controls grafted onto your hands. You're grabbing shit. Knocking people out with your fist.
It had the Hitman spirit behind it of like doing crazy kills in funny ways.
I think those games are very well suited to I think Hitman specifically is suited to VR because they give you like an open area, but it's not an open world or anything. It's not nothing big, so you still have the small area to work with, and you just kind of do things to make your objective happen in it. And I think that is a good use of the VR situation. Like, you don't have to change what the game is all about in order to make it work in VR.
Yeah. Very big yes.
So what was the other one outside of Astrobot? Yeah.
The other one was the one that looked like it was both. It was like VR compatible, but it looked kind of atmospheric.
Yeah.
I think this is the one.
I couldn't like watch it. I had to listen to it.
The Midnight Walk, an atmospheric VR game for PS5 and PSVR 2 from Moon Hood Studios. From what I remember, I thought the tagline said that it was compatible, but not necessarily required to be PSVR 2, which I wish kind of more games did because I feel like they would recoup. It would be a more like viable way of making VR worth it.
Right. I think even if the experience you get without VR is limited, you can still sell the game to people that are interested in the experience that you're offering without them having to spend the price of the console to get.
Which is also why it's still fucking painful as shit that Astrobot Rescue Mission is not available to fucking play on modern generation.
Yeah, like
with PSVR 2 or just through 2D fucking gameplay.
They could have flavor blasted and said Rescue Mission is getting a PSVR 2 version. I don't know what they would have to do with it other than make it compatible. So, but I've never touched like modern VR shit outside of even when we were testing
Resident Evil,
Skyrim VR.
You mean in terms of development?
Yeah. It was using the PS4 VR still using the PS3 Move controllers and shit.
Yeah.
And looking back at that shit's very primitive in comparison to VR2. So I don't know what they would have to do, but it's cool that the VR that the VR2 has not been forgotten.
That was a relief.
Yeah,
because it did seem like they had definitely like dropped the ball there, and they were just like, that's why we're putting it on PC. We don't fucking give a shit anymore. Have at it. But it's nice to see it sort of back alive.
Right.
They announced a Metro game for VR.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't really care anything about Metro, but it's cool that it exists.
Yeah, I'm not a big Metro guy. It has to have a big fan base with how many fucking games they have.
It does, and I believe it's based on a book series too. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, just the whole post-apocalyptic thing is a little...
It's played out for you.
It's a little played out for me at this day and age.
I don't mind it.
As an old man.
I need something that's, not the same, like, grim, sad, worn out shit, especially when I spent a million years working on Fallout 4. So, yeah, that probably fucked me up on that.
Speaking of that, I think that's pretty much it for the VR stuff. So moving right along, Hell is Us.
Hell is Us. I didn't even see what that was. What is it?
A new game from Rogue Factor and Nacon is in development.
Oh,
there's this list is kind of sparse in terms of refreshing the memory, even though it was only a couple hours ago.
I don't know what this is.
Well, it's pretty high on GameSpot's list, so.
Oh yeah,
because they didn't go in sequential chronological order.
Yeah, this is literally they were typing these up as they watched it.
That's funny.
Before, actually.
You know what? Let me just quickly pull up another article that has a little bit more flavor. The Dynasty Warrior Origins game.
That looks good.
First mainline entry since 2018.
It's 9, yeah.
So that's kind of funny. I mean, I guess we're overdue. I guess they've been too busy doing the collabs.
Shit. Yeah, they've been doing
Hyrule Warriors and Dragon Quest Warriors.
Yeah. Well, that was called Dragon Quest Heroes because they can't call it Dragon.
Yeah, fucking whatever. There was an announcement that was really funny, which was Pal World.
Dog, as soon as I saw
did we talk about Pal World? But had they announced
that? No, we haven't.
That was right after we recorded, right?
This was within the week.
Oh, Pal World. Pocket Pair is probably fucking toast.
Yeah, just maybe we did mention it. I don't remember, but either way, Nintendo suing Pocket Pair, which is insane
for patent infringement, not even copyright infringement.
I want more details. Okay, I actually want more details before we talk about it because otherwise everything is speculation.
Fair. Yeah.
But
I mean, with legal shit, it could be months, years,
exactly
before we even know anything.
Yeah. I mean, it's been months since the game's been out. Now they're just finally doing something.
They're probably done for though.
Yeah.
Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered.
Yeah, that's cool. And
have you played those games?
I haven't gotten to like really play them. I've touched them. I've put my. I've
never touched them,
but I've never gotten to do anything. They were they're action games. They're a little platforming, little fighting, blah blah blah.
They show up in Astrobot.
Huh?
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, there you go. They do show up in Astrobot. But if this remaster exists, then that means it's probably coming out on PC because I know it's coming out on Xbox too.
Yeah, it's got to be. I would imagine a good amount of the things they announced are also coming to PC, kind of like what Nintendo's been doing.
Yeah, I actually suspect this game is coming out on Switch too because there was nothing about the way it was remastered that looks like. It looks like
I mean,
it couldn't be done.
You would think
because it's probably being done by the same general team or whatever that did the Tomb Raider stuff.
Right, yeah.
Because there are
Aspyr?
other like core yeah. Is it I thought it was Aspyr.
Aspyr?
Yeah.
Fucking whatever, dude. I've had enough of your correcting my pronunciation. Get a room, man.
Get a room.
Get a damn room, man.
This new news to read and listen a little bit more. But look. Yeah, no, it's cool. Like any remaster like that is cool to me. Any way for people to play older games in a way that's more palatable to them nowadays, I'm for it.
Yeah.
I have no issue with that. Like, there's a difference when you start touching too much and you're changing the game in ways that makes it a lot different than what the spirit of the game originally was. But honestly, that's not been happening so much nowadays. And in general, a lot of those changes are for the better. Like the Dragon Quest 3, Dragon Quest 1 and 2, I'm imagining those will feel very different. They have additions to them, but they'll still have the spirit of Dragon Quest. More palatable for people in 2025.
It's a perfect segue for one of my most hype announcements that they released.
Yeah.
Fucking Lunar Remastered Collection.
Yeah, you had to pronounce it that way too. You had no choice.
Okay, this is an actual question. Didn't people always pronounce it Lunar?
Yeah, I've heard it pronounced Lunar my entire life.
I've only ever heard it pronounced Lunar, and then during the state of play, they kept saying Lunar.
Lunar, yeah.
Lunar Collection.
Honestly,
and it made me give me fucking whiplash.
Is Lunar? Probably is. I
mean, it makes sense to be lunar because it's based on moon shit.
Yeah.
And it's got the moon on the cover.
Exactly. I think people just called it Lunar because seeing the name and seeing the word in isolation, especially associated with like a JRPG on the PS1 and a bunch of kids reading it, it just kind of turned into, it makes sense. It made sense to read it that way.
I mean, also going back to your Gitaru, man, it's probably the like closer to how you would hear Japanese people pronounce lunar.
Well, Lunar?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd hear it as like Luna.
Yeah.
Yeah. Delete that shit. But
anyway, so I just need to talk about Lunar for a second.
Yeah, go
Lunar.
ahead, let it rip.
Because holy shit, what it just got fucking dark as hell. Those people turned their lights off. So the Lunar games, because I'm going to be thinking about it every time I say the name now because I don't know how to pronounce it. The Lunar games are cool. I have a lot of nostalgia for them. They've remade the first game a couple times. Yeah. It was originally a PS1 release, came out on Saturn, came out as a remake called Lunar Legend on GBA. Yeah. They came out with a third game that was really shitty called Lunar Dragon Song on the DS. They had a mobile game, I'm pretty sure, like every fucking company did to cash in on IPs that were dead. And that's about it. So like it didn't get a lot of evolution over the years.
Right.
It's really, people still just look to the original first two games, Silver Star Story and Eternal Blue, as really kind of like the main, like that is the franchise in its entirety, and that's all you need to really care about. So it's cool that it's both games. It's interesting that it's sort of like enhanced graphics, enhanced audio quality of life improvements, because I would say, in 2024, I'm not sure how much people are going to play these and be like, oh yeah, I get it. I think a lot of the nostalgia for those games, as much as I love them, is sort of like them being ahead of the times in the 90s.
Right, fair.
Whereas games have caught up nowadays.
Yeah, games have kind of just blasted past what it was doing.
So like some of the things that were cool about it is just like are all things like sort of story related, like the way that it portrayed the story. It had full voice acting, which was pretty unheard of for PlayStation RPGs.
For a PlayStation, for an RPG of its type, having full voice acting was pretty crazy. Like Final Fantasy 7,
8 or 9. None of them had it, not until PS2.
Yeah.
So
and that's like those are for in the West at least, those were like held as the standard.
Yeah.
For RPGs on that console. So
and I mean I think they're good games. I was sort of refreshing my memory. I think generally the games are quite well balanced. You never really need to grind in them, which again is kind of rare for older RPGs. They usually do that to pad the time, but I think just the pacing was pretty top notch. So I'm definitely gonna give those a spin just to see how they feel, see how they touch, see how I work through them, and see what kind of quality of life features they actually add. But I'm just glad that they're not locked on the PS1 and Saturn anymore.
Yeah.
Because those were some of the few PS1 lingering RPGs that have never had any kind of a port after their original release.
And they could have just said fuck it and put them on like PSN and been done with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But remaster, remake, probably the best way to go for that particular game, especially, who knows what quality of life features are going to be included.
For sure. Getting back into it, just a couple of things that were cool, but we don't need to spend too much time on them. More Shredder's Revenge DLC. I didn't even realize there was another set of DLC coming. So I think that's cool.
It was supposed to be a shadow drop, but it accidentally got leaked the other day, like officially leaked. the other day, which is why we thought it was coming out yesterday.
Okay, got it.
We weren't supposed to know yet.
I see.
So the trailer said, "Come, out today." And it wasn't out today. It's out today.
When they released the trailer.
Yeah, exactly. It's out now.
Oh man.
So on every platform too. Free update.
That's good, man. That's good shit.
A bunch of different
Jake
composers.
Kaufman, my boy, Shovel Knight.
Yeah. Fucking Anamanaguchi is in there for whatever reason.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
good.
That game has gotten more support than I anticipated it would. I thought it was just going to get a couple of patches and be done with it, and I would have been completely fine with that. I think the game was fun.
It's fun. It's really good.
Yeah,
they have everything they need for that game.
Right. 6 players, online or local.
Plenty of characters, plenty of modes, plenty of options,
plenty of ways to play it. It's not an overly difficult game. You can really hand the controller to anybody and they'll figure out how to play it.
Yeah.
I think that game was exactly what it needed to be.
Right.
Just a callback to the Turtles beat 'em ups of the past, but a modernization of them as much as they could while keeping the nostalgia in there. And just another game with the Turtles IP.
Yeah.
Because now we have 5 of them all at once, which is the strangest fucking thing. I mean, they're all different from different people.
Yeah.
Different companies. Konami being included with the Cowabunga collection. So,
yeah.
Which is a very good collection. I'm glad about it.
Good stuff. Moving right along. Retro horror game Fear the Spotlight. Do you know anything about this game?
I don't know anything about that game. It's of course it's supposed to look like a PS1 game. I think it's a little uglier than that actually. But
yeah,
I am curious.
Being re-released by publisher Blumhouse Games. I didn't realize Blumhouse was a game publisher.
Yeah.
I mean,
I kind of want to. I need to give it another look because, like I said, I didn't get to watch the thing. I had it playing through my speakers on my phone, on my car.
Arcade Chronicles.
More
probably Arcade.
It's Arcade Chronicles, yeah.
Sequel to Arcade and Arcade Unchained, set 50 years after the original online RPG.
I did not even know this was an IP that existed already.
Here you go.
It seems like the most, at least to me, seems like the most generic bundling of, modern
tropes,
Souls-esque combat with modern fantasy, not modern, but just all around fantasy setting, which I'm into. I'm into the fantasy shit, but I don't think they're doing anything with it that I can't get
in other games
somewhere else, anything else. You know what I mean? I don't think they're doing it in a way that's calling out to me you need to try this. So, especially that name, Arc.
Yeah.
Just doesn't
invoke excitement or fresh ideas.
Yeah, it puts me to sleep.
Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Another fucking age, by the way. Game looks much better than the first time I saw it.
It did look really jank the first time.
Yeah, the first time I saw it,
looked like a mobile game.
This looks ugly. This looks bad. This looks not the way. Now, from what I saw, it's okay, that looks
like a polished entry in the franchise.
Right. This looks like something that Dragon Age, people that are really into Dragon Age especially, can be excited about without feeling like it's a, watered down version of the experience they're used to from the other 2 games. I think this is genuinely worth whatever it is. And it comes out next month, so we'll really get to see what it's all about then.
Yep, October 31st. Yeah, right on Halloween. Towers of Agasba. Did you listen to this one? Action adventure builder fantasy game. Challenges players to rebuild their civilization in the ecosystem while maintaining a balance between the two.
Is there a screenshot or something like that?
There's a video.
Oh, I'll just watch the fucking
I mean, I think it's a cool idea. I think it looks reasonably decent. I don't think we've been flooded with a ton of this action adventure / builder concept. It kind of, for whatever reason, reminded me of Dark Cloud a little bit.
Yeah.
But what kind of turned me off is it says launching in early access in November, which is
it is pretty though for what's been described. It's and the climbing of the beasts looks cool. It's a nice looking game, but it's not my this kind of survival stuff is not really my style.
Right.
And I'm not about to go. The Shadow of the Colossus style climbing is cool though.
Yeah, there hasn't been.
They've showed it more than once.
It looked reasonably fresh.
Yeah, fucking Zelda style hang gliding, swimming underwater. It looks
competent.
It looks cool, yeah. For people that are into stuff like, ew. The character design, the human character designs are fucking despicably ugly, though.
The human character. It's also kind of why it reminded me of Dark Cloud. I kind of remember seeing pictures of Dark Cloud in magazines and having a similar reaction. But that could just be like my general taste.
Yeah. But okay, I got the information I needed.
Yeah. So I'm going to buy it for you on Steam.
You don't have to fucking do that. Buy Pal World. No, don't buy Pal World.
Buy it while you still can.
Yeah. And insane that it's out on PS5 now.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Fantasian, another sneak peek.
Yeah, Fantasian, cool. I'm glad.
Super glad.
Sakaguchi was
this year.
Talk about it.
Yeah, it's cool to have that come full circle.
Yeah. That it'd be cool to touch it. It's coming out on everything, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think didn't they announce it for Switch?
Was it Switch? Maybe it was.
I think it was on a Nintendo Direct.
Okay, you're right. It might have been Switch that we saw it on, and then it was.
And it said everything.
Yeah,
Steam. It's going to be on everything. Steam, PS4, PS5, Xbox.
All the world is made out of actual real stuff.
Stellar Blade is getting
DLC.
like DLC and a Nier. It's a Nier collaboration.
Of course, there was going to be a Nier Automata DLC.
Yeah, because she's like the other sexed up.
Yeah. It's
action game character.
The Nier Automata being in everything is funny, I guess, but I think it's kind of like anti what that game was about.
Yeah,
but
like objectifying that's fucking people.
Yeah, but like Stellar Blade is an alright. Like I tried the demo, it felt like it was an alright action game. I'm glad all the gooners are getting the game that they really want. I'm glad Jeremy is getting exactly what he needed.
Glad they undid this censorship.
Yeah, or whatever the fuck. But Stellar Blade is kind of outside of my orbit. I need an action game that's a little bit faster. So.
Alan Wake 2 DLC looked fucking nice.
Cool. The Remedy verse is like a big thing. Is getting more and more things.
It's so good, man.
Yeah,
it's such good shit. I will say. When they showed, so they did show a PS5 Pro, another sort of like thing. It's like, we're gonna do new colors, the Chroma collection. The white one looks pretty cool, I will say.
Oh, those colors! I want
the green one was nice too.
It's very uncommon to get a green console.
Yeah,
it isn't an Xbox with a Halo.
I was thinking today because they also announced the Fortnite PS5. I was like, they have so many variants. For this shit. Yeah. Like I know PS4 had a lot of variants for the controller. The
controllers, yeah.
But the console itself had like nothing. It was just the base PS4 from what I remember.
Are you talking about not the PS4 Pro, you mean? Or because they had like the Arkham Knight PS4.
But were they I guess they did have a couple.
They had
but they were all collabs. Like they didn't have like color variants.
Yeah.
Which is something they've been able to do because it's the fins or whatever, the plates.
The plates, yeah. Because like the white PS4 was initially a Destiny, and I think it was always a Destiny thing, like the Glacier White PS4.
So it's nice to see. Yeah. It's nice to see variants being so prominently, almost excessively done. Yeah. Like they got the Astrobot controller, they got the 30th anniversary controller and the console. Now they got these Chroma ones, like they're cranking out the shit, which is nice.
I popped in at my friend's house this past weekend, and
he had a PS5 Pro.
No. I was there to help them with some setup of shit, some stream shit, I think. And I look at the coffee table and I see a controller, a PS5 controller, and I was like, "Is that the fucking Concord controller?"
Oh hell yeah!
And she was like, "Yeah, I got the Concord controller because I thought it looked nice." It's like, do you know that shit's like $300 now? You know the game got just shut off.
It was a nice looking controller. I remember thinking that the color palette is nice.
I wish it didn't say Concord on the back of it. But other than that, it's like
it's a very visually appealing
design for a controller. Yeah, I was like, oh fuck, well, nice, good job.
She gonna sell it?
Huh? No. She already used it. She already used the shit out of it.
It's used.
What?
So what? It's used.
The whole point was to just have another controller. So
yeah, but now you can get like one plus whatever else.
She can do what the fuck she wants with that shit. I'm not fucking worried.
You should be worried. No, but where I was going, because I brought us on a tangent here.
Yeah.
They showcased another sort of like roundhouse of the PS5 Pro enhancements and games that are going to be enhanced. Bring it back to Alan Wake 2.
Right.
I actually thought for a second, I was like, that actually might be a game worth.
That's
worth getting. Not getting, but like waiting.
When you have
in like noticeable improvements.
Like if you
because there is like a little bit of, you can feel that the game is pushing the physical like limitations of hardware,
and it uses like reconstruction kind of shit to have the visuals with with whatever resolution.
Yeah, and so it's kind of noticeable.
Yeah, it's kind of soft.
It's kind of soft. That's a good way to put it. It's soft, and it works for that game because that game is inherently kind of like grainy horror adjacent.
That's what I'm going to say. I think they knew what they were doing with that.
Yeah, but like the game still chugs on the PS5.
Yeah.
Like there's sometimes like if it's a really visually dense area and you move quickly, you'll see a slight tearing. The edges of the screen. Yeah. So like the immersion and just like the crispness factor. That is a game that when I was watching that sizzle reel, I was like, oh, that's actually a game you would probably be very noticeable to see improvements on.
But I feel like what they showed from that little reel actually, or are we that far yet? Whatever.
I haven't been going in order.
Yeah. So the PS5 Pro sizzle reel with all the games that were getting enhanced, like showing more games that were getting enhancements. It was pretty boring. Like it was a pretty boring set, and it was
clearly just a reminder.
They repeated games,
and for people that didn't watch the tech showcase.
But it's honestly more like these are the games you should get when the Pro comes out if you don't already have them.
Right, these are the ones that you should focus on.
Yeah, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth getting it, great. Resident Evil 4 remake getting enhancements, that's cool. They just need to bring the PC shit onto there, and then
which is probably what they're doing.
And then I saw Resident Evil Village. I was like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah,
they're
like older,
going back into it, which makes me think like, could we get more RE engine games like this, like the DMC5 get a little bit of something?
I mean, I'm sure Monster Hunter Wilds is going to get it.
Monster Hunter Wilds is 100% going to get that. Like Metal Gear Solid Delta is getting is just known. It's just like this is being enhanced by the system.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these games, if they have a PC version, you're basically going to get the near, not quite maxed out version, but you're going to get the nearly maxed out PC experience on the Pro.
Right.
Which is fine. Which is totally fine. You can get that on your TV, you can get that with your PS5 controller, you can get that with all the features that come with having a PlayStation. It's $700, so it's not something I'm getting, but not because I can't.
I'm getting one for you.
I'm not putting. All right, fine. But not because I can't, but just because it's not.
Yeah.
But or for me to do, but I wish they. I was saying this to you before we came up here to record this. I wish they used that opportunity to demonstrate like benefits that PS4 games could get.
Did they mention that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's basically like PS4 games will get a kind of a boost mode.
Interesting.
And it would have been the perfect time to say, oh, this game that was 30 FPS is now
60.
Finally 60. This game that ran at a low res or whatever is finally at a
it was like dynamic 4K. Resolution now locked 4K.
Now it's locked 4K. Now, yeah.
They probably, I'll be honest, they probably don't have that information yet.
They probably don't. They probably have not done a lot of testing other than does the game still work on the PS5 Pro? Yes, it does. Okay. As long as it works the way it used to, it's good enough for now.
Moving right along. Lego Horizon Adventures.
Fine. That's funny. I'm glad
still
to
funny
see it again.
Game.
It's not out yet. It's coming out on Switch too. Like Switch
so
as well, not
me.
Switch 2, but Switch as well, which is funny as hell.
And probably the Switch 2.
And I'm curious if those like the Ratchet and Clank and all those other like the Sackboy outfits and everything are going to show up in the Switch version. That would be very strange.
But honestly, I could see it.
I could see it.
I could see Sackboy the game coming out on Switch.
Sackboy is just fucking Mario 3D World.
Yeah.
So just let it rip. I mean, obviously not as it is. It would have to come out on like the next Switch.
Right.
But you know what I mean? I think genuinely Sony could deal with putting out more games on other consoles. They don't need to put out everything. They don't need to have Like Astro Bot should stay on PS5 only, but like there's nothing particularly special about, say, Ghost of what was it, Yonai?
Whoa! We're not there yet.
I'm trying to segue into it.
No, we got one more thing before that.
Oh, okay, fuck that. Then let's say Ghost of Tsushima. There's nothing so particularly special about that being on PlayStation that they can't have it.
Well, it's on Steam.
It's on Steam, but they can't have it on like Xbox.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just it's been enough time. Just put it there. You don't even need to.
It doesn't. It seems like it's not easy to put things on Xbox.
More
and more fucking developers. Like that's why Power World had all those issues.
Yeah.
Fucking indie devs being like, we're just not working with Xbox.
Yeah, my not Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom collection, and the second collection, the CVS2 one. Capcom wasn't putting them on Xbox until
like for whatever reason
discussion about it.
There are for whatever reason there's apparently valid reasons to not just throw it on Xbox.
I think there's probably some fucked up bug with their like developer portal or something like that, and it's a bug that is so fucked for the like Microsoft doesn't interpret it as being so fucked up because they're just working with it, but third parties are like, yo, this console doesn't sell shit anyway, and there's like a bunch of things to jump to just not be sure if the game is we can put the game out on this thing. Fuck this, we're just not gonna do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry if y'all have an Xbox and you're really attached to it. It might be time.
Time for what?
Time to jump to a different platform and
or just stick with Game
just
Pass.
Not have to just not have to worry about these third-party publishers not putting out games on your system of choice. Unfortunately.
Yeah, the real answer is jump to PC. That's gonna be the natural jump.
The real answer is to progress to PC because a lot of the games you bought on Xbox, you can just move those purchases over.
Exactly.
But
and then the thing before we get to the big reveal that you already revealed, the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster that was leaked and now confirmed.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm gonna say about it. I'm okay with it. I think it's good. Here's why.
Good.
It's 7 years old. The game came out when Breath of the Wild came out.
Just a couple of seconds before Breath of the Wild did. Yeah.
So it's a whole generation behind. PS4 game, now PS5 game.
Yeah.
2, they actually put decent effort into the release.
Yeah.
You know, mocap, all this shit, sort of like redoing some of the voice lines, redoing some of the visuals. Like, I think it actually does look noticeably better compared to the PS4 one. And it's going to get some of the PS5 Pro boosts as well, which they showcase in the sizzle reel. Third,
go ahead.
The last point, you get the $10 upgrade.
Which you didn't even realize that until we were downstairs talking about it. Fucking, I think it's exceedingly boring.
Sure.
As an announcement, but I think maybe it didn't need to take up space in a state of play. At the same time, I do think, like I was saying earlier, I think modernizing a game, even if it's not that old, is not a bad thing.
I think it is good to, like, it's the same reason why I actually liked the Last of Us Part 1 remaster for PS5.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice to be able to play two games that are so, like tied to each other.
Yeah.
Like, narratively and gameplay-wise, to be able to play them back-to-back like that and have parity between them visually, narratively, and mechanically is nice. I will still shit on The Last of Us Part 2 remaster because that's still a joke. Because it's got the PS4 Pro boosted version available specifically for PS5 that is, essentially identical to the
that's
PS5
a different,
remaster.
Because that came out in 2020. That game is really not that old. But at the same time, if you didn't get it when it was on PS4, you can get a PS5 version of it that uses the PS5 more directly to present.
I don't really know what that's worth when you have essentially parity with the updated PS. There is a patch for the PS4 version of The Last of Us Part 2 explicitly for the PS5 hardware.
Right. It's
some goofy shit.
It's goofy, but at the same time, I understand just kind of wanting to have a version that's,
just to have the white PS5 logo over the game instead of the black PS4 logo.
Specifically for your blue PS4 logo?
No. Like when you select a game on PS5, it'll tell you which like console it's for, which is also why I realized I actually was playing the fucked up streaming version of Ape Escape for PS4 instead of the native PS5 downloaded Ape Escape, and it's two different tiles, and the fucking memory save doesn't cross over. And I was just like,
the fucking streaming. The what the fuck was I trying to say? The having a remaster of a game not that old is fine. I think if you don't already have the game, this is a better way to get it. If you get the PS4 disc, or if you have if you access the PS4 version, you get an upgrade for another $10, and that means you have the game on PS4 and
that is great.
PS5. I
think any remaster that follows that pattern is fine.
Yeah,
is good. It's fine. Last of Us Part 2 probably had that too.
Yeah. It probably had something like
now,
that.
whether that's worth $10 compared to the PS4 version, I don't know.
It's
hard for me to say.
Figure out, but even then, it's just. In fact, I think that had exactly that because I'm remembering.
Yeah.
Thinking about it now.
I mean, that's a good way. If we can get guaranteed backwards compatibility and $10 upgrades for all modern like boosts per se and new modern tech coming out, like I would be happy with that.
And there's probably a benefit to doing it that way for the sake of having a PC version.
I hope Nintendo follows that.
It follows the enhanced. I mean, they've done it before.
I wish you could carry Virtual Console back, like your licenses forward for a price. I kind of wish you could do that.
They did that on Wii U.
They did? From Wii to Wii U?
From Wii to Wii U, you could keep you can just bring all your Wii shit, you just bring it into Wii mode. But then those games that you had, if they got a Wii U Virtual Console version or something, then you could pay like $1 to get the Wii U version of it so you can use the controller configuration.
I do like that.
In the game.
I don't think they liked that they could have made more money with a subscription.
I think the thing about Virtual Console is that all the third parties wanted their cut.
Right. So
the subscription makes it easier for them to actually on it.
Is that true?
Yeah.
How is that true?
What? The cut?
When the games are individually priced and sold, is that not much easier to account for the tax for third parties?
Fuck no.
Why?
Because the third
how lumping it all into a subscription?
The third parties want to have control over it, so they make the collection. They make their version of it. They sell it the way they want to on Nintendo Store or whatever, and then you have like the Mega Man Legacy Collection. They release that on their terms. They don't have to go through Nintendo's emulator or Nintendo's anything. They just release that shit.
But what does that have to do with
what? Virtual Console?
With Virtual Console versus NSO pricing model.
With NSO, you have a situation where people are paying for it consistently and constantly. You don't have to pay you wouldn't have to pay per publisher for their game. You know what I mean?
I mean, I know what you mean, but by the same logic, like if they were to get one of those games into NSO, the publisher could just revoke their license or like whatever the contract is.
Yeah.
And then sell it themselves anyway, and then you've been paying for a subscription, you just lost access. Like it's the same issue that Xbox.
I mean, sure, but that's never happened.
No, I know that's never happened, but it solidifies that they will never get these third-party games because it's a subscription.
Yeah. But
whereas before we had a chance, like we did in many cases.
Yeah, if I were looking at it from like Nintendo's perspective, and then the way the third parties are communicating with me.
I'll be honest, I think this is actually something Nintendo fumbled, like actively fumbled. I don't think people would have been incentivized to go and re-release their own collections if working with Nintendo had been an easy way to keep their old shit as just ROMs being dumped and being paid for and carry that forward. I think if that was easy for people to keep doing for their older games, they wouldn't have had to go and like wrap their own collection and like try to make it worth it to sell a full price thing.
Well, it's... Because like Nintendo likes to do the drip feed thing, they like to release on their own schedule.
Right.
They
I think Nintendo's just probably hard to work with from that perspective.
Perhaps, I think that because of the way it's set up, it just doesn't make if the publishers could just release all their shit as they wish, then what's the point? Why not use the work that they're doing for releasing those games on other platforms on the Nintendo one too? You know what I mean?
Well, because I feel like Nintendo was probably the ones doing the work.
I mean, Nintendo's the ones doing
And then they were just collecting. They were just collecting royalties as per the contract.
That's just another thing to be like, you know, with the NSO stuff. At least it's mainly just an emulator, and it's not in perpetuity. Like at some point, all this shit could go away. You know what I mean? And you only access it.
It definitely will.
You only access it.
They only have the things that they own the license to, essentially.
Yeah. So it's like there's none of that. They just, I don't know. I think the deal works out better for third parties and not necessarily the customer, but third parties and Nintendo to have it as a subscription service. I
just don't understand the logic. Like, let's take Banjo-Kazooie as an example.
Yeah.
Let's assume for whatever, you know, all intents and purposes, that Nintendo has to give a cut back to Rare and Microsoft to allow Banjo-Kazooie to be on that platform. How does having it as a subscription make that easier for them to do? The only way it would make sense is if they're just giving them a flat fee.
And that's probably it. And at the same time, I think because of its limited nature, that's probably a way to even get more of the games on there because they don't have to. There's no permanence. You know what I mean?
I guess, but like, what's the permanence to selling it individually?
Well, selling it individually, people buy the game, they keep it. You know what I mean? Like if I were to buy Banjo-Kazooie on Wii U, I have it. I don't have to get an Xbox to play it.
I see.
I'm consistently paying
Microsoft
to play it.
I see what you're saying now.
I'm like through Nintendo, I'm consistently paying Microsoft to play it.
I was thinking strictly from an accounting perspective.
Oh yeah, like
financially speaking, it's very easy to say you charge $8, we give you 5% of that.
Oh yeah, but yeah, like
whereas with subscription is it's like, well, we need to now do the math. We're making X amount of money per customers. How many we have to look into the analytics of who's actually playing Banjo-Kazooie. Is it worth the cost?
Like I think without this subscription, we wouldn't have gotten Golden Eyes. You know what I mean?
Because at some point they can revoke it.
At some point they can decide
we don't want it on Switch Online
people
anymore.
Aren't keeping it. They are.
People are going to be real pissed if that happens at some time.
People are going to be mad, but nothing ever said that you were keeping it. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying it does say that.
Unless you're on Xbox.
I'm saying it actually is shitty as hell for a consumer. Like it's definitely to me that would be probably the biggest consumer betray of confidence that they've done, like by a significant order of magnitude.
Like I don't think any of that stuff is going to be removed anytime soon.
Yeah,
by any means. I think the next console is going.
They probably locked in like a 10-year, 15-year contract.
Probably a decade. Yeah, a decade's worth of all this stuff from when it lands on the platform.
Right.
So like 2033 is when you need to start worrying about, and that's fucking future time. I'm not even going to be thinking about this shit in 2033. But God. But yeah. So I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about. But
we can go on to the final game here.
Ghost of Yokai Watch.
The Ghost of Yokai Watch. The Ghost of Yotei.
Is it Yotei? I thought was it Yotei or was it Yone?
Yone?
Yotei, maybe it's.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
anyway, Ghost of Tsushima sequel.
Yeah.
Ghost of Yotei.
Yotei. Okay.
Get fucked.
Whatever. I fuck it up sometimes. It's okay. I'm not sitting here.
Full ass sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. It looks nice as hell.
Yeah.
It looks kind of similar to Ghost of Tsushima.
It looks quite similar to Ghost of Tsushima. It was very obvious that it had something to do with it was Ghost of.
Yeah, whether it was a prequel or a sidequel or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But looks cool. New protagonist entirely.
Yep.
New story. I still have barely touched Ghost of Tsushima. It's on my list of games to play at some point.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that have played a lot of games, and they say Ghost of Tsushima is their favorite open world, favorite PlayStation, favorite story, like. And it's getting a TV show.
It is getting a TV show.
Which will also probably be good. Yeah, so is God of War.
Yeah, so it's fucking...
live action, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so another good reason, like if it's something that is like, oh yeah, this is going to run flawlessly on PS5 Pro.
Yeah.
It's going to run jank on PS5. Like, you know, that'll definitely push the consumer base.
Yeah. I just need to see more of it. I'm in the mind that... that's the kind of game I need to touch to be excited about.
Have you touched Ghost of Tsushima?
Not really.
Do you want to?
Fine. I think this. So, like overall, how did you feel about this particular presentation?
I thought it was fine.
Yeah,
I thought it was fine.
Like fine is probably the answer.
I think it was. I think they succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
They kept their finger on the pulse. They showed some new stuff. They showed at least one or two things for different folks and different people to be excited about.
Yeah.
From PSVR 2 to retro RPG fans, retro fans of anything even action games.
People still using PS4 got stuff.
People using PS4 still getting juice. New stuff on the roadmap.
Yeah.
So like I think it was an all around just update. I don't think they didn't put any fanfare behind it. They literally were just like, by the way, we're gonna show you guys sort of state of. I like the way that they call it state of play.
I was going to say, because
it's like state of the union.
Appropriately, I think it being called state of play works out, especially for this exact presentation.
Yeah,
because this is the kind of stuff that we've got going on. It might not be the most exciting things,
right?
But they're things.
This is us providing transparency into the roadmap and the development and the
you can get excited about something here. So I think it was exactly what they needed to be. Yeah.
It's not as hype as some of the other things have been. It's not as hype as E3 or whatever. But I think it keeps. If you only have a PS5, I think you probably have some confidence in your purchase and in the possible things that you would want to play in the future.
And with like PlayStation especially, there's kind of just less questions of what's coming out because it's always like people say PS5 has no games, whatever. That's not really true. It's more like PS5 doesn't have
exclusives,
very specific exclusive to itself, but it's got a lot of games.
It does.
There's a lot of games coming out all the time. So
there's a lot of stuff you can play on it.
Yeah, you find out about that shit just by turning the console on. Like,
and that's like it's another reminder. We didn't really do a deep dive on Astrobot, but that also was kind of the perfect reminder because as you were saying, you go through and like take exclusive out of the picture.
Yeah.
You go around that field of all the 305 bots that are in the game, and it's like 95% of those games are playable right now on the PS5 in some fashion,
in some way, whether via like PlayStation Plus emulation, whether via
game streaming,
whether via just backward compatibility, anything.
Yeah,
like the stuff is there. You can still just buy PS4 games through.
Yeah, like they have a wealth of games, and like I was just telling you how irritated I get when it's like, oh, dead franchises, dead IPs. It's like, dude, like that's how the world works. Not everything gets kept.
Not everything gets kept
alive.
Are you really going to be upset that a book series ended? Come on, you can still pick up those books and read them again. They're there. They're not dead. They're available. They exist. It's done. You don't need more. There's more.
Yeah, it's like I feel like Crash, Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank are like kind of the perfect. Well, Ratchet and Clank actually has like new shit, but the other ones are probably.
It had one new game. That came out of the PS5 launch, so.
But all the other shit I think are like perfect examples of that because like those games are still fun by modern standards.
Right, a lot of them.
They look a little retro.
A lot of them really are, yeah.
But like they play fine. They're fun. If you haven't touched them before, you have a good opportunity to go do that. Mm-hmm. It's like this universe is there. At some point the world will be fully mapped out. You'll have seen everything that you want to see, but like that's how shit works. That's how discovery works.
I really would like a new Castlevania game. I know how you feel.
Or a new Metal Gear Solid game.
But I don't need a new Metal Gear Solid game, to be honest with you. That doesn't make any sense to me. A new Castlevania game.
I'm just thinking of Konami and their dead franchise.
It's like I'd really like a new Castlevania game, but I'm also of the mind that it's like, who's gonna make it? I don't think anyone that made the ones that I like are left at Konami. I don't think that there's nobody capable of doing it. Like Mercury Steam made some Castlevania games, and then they made Dread. But I also think there's enough of the games that if someone were to be jumping into them now, they have 3 collections to buy.
As he's looking at me,
they have
beady
3
eyes.
Lords of Shadow games to get. They have a PS4 Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood collection to buy. There's a lot of Castlevania you can access right this second with the machine you have.
That's what I've been doing.
So I just I think it's okay to let things go. I can guarantee there's games, there's experiences you haven't had. And I can guarantee.
Go play UFO 50. 50 new experiences right there.
Try other shit. You can compare it to the stuff you already like, but even then, you might find something new that you would appreciate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
All right. I think that wraps it up.
Yeah,
how did you feel about the state of play? I guess you kind of mentioned it.
Yeah, I was saying like it's fine. It was fine. All it needed to be was fine. And there was nothing terribly exciting in it for me specifically, like for my tastes. Like I knew Monster Hunter Wilds was coming out, so it wasn't anything new to me. But you know, it's just cool that they say that they're here. Like it's fall now. These are the games that we're going into the next few months with, and the next year or whatever with. Keep your eyes out, and you already know we make announcements for other games via Twitter and all this other kind of shit. So just you're good. Keep enjoying your games. No rush. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Good. All right. Hierophants?
I don't have one right now. I'm sorry. We're gonna hold that up, and then we're probably gonna do like 3 the next time. We gotta make sure.
Well, I could do UFO 50.
Is that a Hierophant?
I mean, kind of.
It's just an indie game. I don't know if it's a Hierophant.
Yeah, it's not really a Hierophant.
What
about all right, I'll do this one. Pokemon Close Combat.
I haven't gotten to try it.
All right, so I'll mention it now, and people can go check it out, and then we can discuss it.
Talk about it later. Yeah.
It's a fighting game made with some fighting game maker tool. There's like a tool, I don't even remember what it's called.
Mugen, is it?
No, it's not Mugen. Okay. It's not Mugen. But it's all hand drawn looking.
Yeah.
I think it looks nice. I think it has a lot of personality. It looks simple, but there's a mastery to it. Like there is a skill floor and a skill ceiling.
Right.
I also haven't gotten to try it because I haven't been able to get a fucking pad to work.
Right. Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had it.
But it looks cool. They got a roster of like unique play styles.
Are all the characters like fighting?
No.
Not fighting type, but like
no.
Fighting oriented? No? Okay.
No.
So you get like the Shin.
They've got weird ones. They got weird ones. Yeah. I really like the way they did Hitmontop. Or Hitmon Tyrogue. I think that's the newest one. So you start as Tyrogue, and then you die, like when you lose your health, and then depending on
how you play it.
Yeah, either how you play it or even maybe just a button input, you can choose one of the 3 evolutions, and you get a second life.
That's funny.
Yeah. So they got some cool ideas. Zapdos is one of the playable characters.
Oh, okay.
So like weird shit.
Yeah.
So we'll have to decide Hierophire after we touch it a little bit.
Give it a try.
Give it an honest shake.
But okay.
All right. Shoot us an email at memoryleakpodcast@gmail.com at the memory leak. I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, we still have to figure it out.
I'm gonna ping Pedro after this. Give us a like, a comment, subscribe. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.
Yeah.
Hit us up. We want to hear from you.
Let it rip.
Then we'll talk about what you ask us to talk about.
Let it rip.
And maybe we'll talk to you.
No. No. That was worse than when I got threatened to get killed.
That's it.
That's the car. Cut it off. Pedro, you have to get rid of that fucking part I told you to get rid of earlier, by the way. You have no choice.
Sorry about that.